If you're an indie artist, there's a good chance you're not actually thrilled about your stream count right now. Believe me, I get it. I've stared at those numbers like they're supposed to reveal some hidden message or something, and maybe if I just refreshed one more time, right? And when you're frustrated, you probably did what I did. You head to YouTube and you hope somebody out there has a magic answer for you. But instead, you get hit with advice that sounds like two experts that are just arguing from opposite sides of the room at one another. One person says, stop marketing like you're famous. And then the next one says, brand yourself like a celebrity. And you go, okay, that clears everything up. And here's the part that you never hear, which is most of that advice isn't technically wrong. It's just incomplete. And the crazy thing is, after trying every major promotion method that people swear by, only one of them actually ever changed anything for me. I'll tell you which one it was and why, but first let me show you how I figured it out, because I'm not here as a guru. I'm here as someone who's made every single mistake in the book and learned from all of them the hard way. Now, when I first started releasing music, I was convinced that streams were the secret. I treated them like some mythical key that would unlock the next level in my own career. So I chased them hard. Playlist groups, spot trades, streaming playlists all day long like it was part of my job description. And yes, I'm not going to lie, the numbers went up. But here's what I didn't understand all that time. Numbers can be very good at pretending to mean something, right? Those streams weren't real listeners, and they weren't people that cared at all about my music. They were just activity, right? And I knew the moment I stopped playlisting, then the streams were going to disappear too. Not gradually, but instantly. That didn't make me feel wise at all. It made me feel like, okay, clearly I don't understand this business like I thought I did. And honestly, that right there is when my real education began. One thing that I've learned, and I'm still learning, honestly, is that most advice online comes from somebody's personal experience. And it's not universal truth. It's not a blueprint or anything. It's just one person's story. Somebody who blew up on TikTok is going to swear that TikTok is the answer. And somebody who built a brand-first identity is going to swear that branding is the answer. Somebody that got lucky with playlists is going to swear that playlists are the answer. And none of them are wrong. They're just speaking from their own lane. But you and I, well, we're building our own lane. So the real question isn't who should I listen to, but it's actually what problem am I really trying to solve for myself? That perspective shift changes you a lot. So step back a moment. I gave TikTok a real shot in the past. I posted consistently, I tried different angles, I was funny, I was musical, I was educational, all of it. And here's what I learned. Thousands of people can watch your content and then not remember you even 10 seconds later. So TikTok can be incredible at giving you views, but it's really not great at giving you any sort of a connection. And after a while, I started to feel like I had to compete with gimmicks and louder visuals and faster cuts and bigger reactions, all just to keep up. And that's not who I am. I'm not a circus act. I'm a musician and a producer with something to say. And so maybe I still post there from time to time sometimes, but I really don't pour my soul into it. For me, TikTok can be a tool, but it's never going to be my home. And you already know my playlisting story, but it belongs here. I joined groups, I traded spots, I streamed playlists all day long. And yes, the numbers went up, but those streams weren't real listeners, like I said. They were just activity, right? Playlisting taught me something important, which is you can inflate numbers, but you can't inflate the connections. I also tried paid ads a couple of times on Meta, and let me tell you this, I paid for the experience. I got the impressions I paid for, and I got the clicks, and I got the traffic, and none of it really helped me build my base. Not because ads don't work, they absolutely can, but they didn't help because I just didn't know what I was doing at all. I was basically lighting money on fire and calling it marketing. The lesson was simple. Advertising is a precision tool, and it's not a throw money at it and hope kind of a strategy. And branding used to make me roll my eyes. It sounded like something that giant corporations might do, and not indie artists like me. But over time, I realized that branding isn't about pretending to be famous or pretending to be somebody else. It's actually just about clarity. It's about helping people understand who you are and what your music stands for. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still learning how to tell my story, still learning how to show the human part of my songs, but every step feels more honest than the last. And after everything, the playlist, the ads, the short form grind, collaboration and community really are the only things that ever felt real to me. Not the transactional stuff like, well, I'll add your song if you add mine and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the people who actually showed up for me. My first collaborator was somebody I played music with decades ago. Reconnecting with him grounded me, and it reminded me of who I was before thinking about algorithms and numbers and just all that pressure, right? And then I started working with collaborators from all over the world: Europe, Asia, South America. Every single one of them taught me something cool. And then there were the collaborators who challenged me to level up. I'm talking the ones whose fingerprints are literally all over my own growth. These relationships taught me more about being an artist than any playlist or ad campaign or algorithm ever could. And this is the slowest path, I'm not going to lie to you, but it's the most human one. And it's the only one that feels like it leads somewhere meaningful. So the more I leaned into community, the more I focused on real people instead of numbers, the more the whole picture started to make sense to me. It's not about tactics, it's not about platforms, it's not even about promotions, it's really about psychology. People don't follow artists because of the music alone. They follow because something in your world feels familiar or meaningful or reflective of their own life. Familiarity, emotional connections, narrative coherence, self-relevance. People follow you when they feel like you're part of their story. Now let me give you a few things I wish that somebody had told me earlier. There's a lot of data to sift through once you start digging into things, and none of this is really a secret. These are just things that you can actually see in your stats right now. And once you know what to look for, the whole picture becomes more clear. Number one, make music that people want to come back to. Simple as that. Spotify shows you how many people listen to a song and how many times that they listen. And that alone tells you a lot. If people hit play more than once, that's a connection. And if your newer songs get replayed more than your older ones, that means your music is becoming more returnable. The measurement is actually simple. Look at the listeners number and look at the streams number. If the streams are noticeably higher than the listeners, then it just means people are coming back to it. People replay music that feels personal to them. When you see that happening, that's one of the clearest signs that something is starting to resonate with people. Number two, build a world around your music. Spotify also shows you how people choose to live with your music. And saves tell you that somebody wants your song in their library. Playlist ads tell you that your song now sits next to the other music that they love. The source of streams view shows whether people are finding you through algorithmic playlists or editorial playlists or listener playlists or their own libraries. And the measurement here is very straightforward. Look at how many saves a song gets compared to how many listeners that it has. And look at how many playlists it gets added to. And look at whether your streams are coming from people's own libraries or just algorithmic sources. And don't get me wrong, algorithmic sources are great in the beginning, but long-term success, we're talking about people saving your music, right? And if people save your song or add it to their own playlist, that's a stronger sign of growth than any spike in streams could be. And that is like somebody saying, this belongs in my catalog. And number three, just pick one platform to master. Instagram in 2026 rewards depth. The numbers that matter are the ones that show people are interacting. Comments, story replies, DMs, shares, saves. The measurement is simple. Look at how many people reply to your stories and look at how many people message you after a post. Look at how many people save or share something that you made. Likes and reach tell you who saw something, and replies and DMs tell you who felt something. When those deeper signals rise over time, your relationship with your audience is just getting stronger. And if people reply to your stories or message you about your music, then you're building a real audience there, not just an algorithmic one. Number four, then, collaborate with people who share your own values. You don't need advanced analytics for this. Just look at your follower count before and after a collaboration. And look at your streams by country or city if your collaborator is from a different region. Look at your comments and DMs to see whether people mention the collaboration. The measurement is so simple. Just check your numbers the week before a collaboration and then again a week after, and then check a month later. If the new listeners are still there, that's a real audience transfer. A good collaboration doesn't just give you a spike, it gives you people who stay long after the spike is gone. Okay, and number five, then use ads only if you're willing to be a student of them. When you advertise on platforms like Meta, you get a huge amount of data to sift through. And you can see how many people watched and clicked and visited your profile and followed you and much, much more than that. On paper, it looks like you have everything you need to judge whether an ad is actually working, but the hard part isn't about getting the data. The hard part is understanding it and making sense of that information. It takes real study and discipline. And you can look at things like saves and shares and get a rough feeling for whether something resonated, but that alone doesn't tell you how effective your ads have been. And if you're willing to treat paid advertising like a serious craft and maybe become a student of it, you can absolutely learn to create effective ads and evaluate them in a scientific way. But for most indie artists, that is a full project on its own, and it's really not realistic to expect that you can kind of casually throw money at ads and have them build a real audience for you. So my honest take is this: if you're not ready to really learn advertising, you're usually better off putting your time into relationships and content that you can measure in much more simple ways. Here's the test that I use now. Does this help people find me? And does it help them understand me? And does it make them want to come back? And if it doesn't do any of those things, it's probably just noise. So if you're tired of chasing numbers that don't care about you, I get it, because I've lived that myself. I've learned from it, and I'm still learning every day. But the moment that I stopped chasing streams and started building relationships, that's when things finally started to click. If this hits home, drop a comment and tell me where you are in your journey. I'd love to hear your story. And in an upcoming video, I'm going to break down exactly how I'm going to use Instagram in 2026, like what I'm testing, what's working, and what I'm learning in real time. Because this is where your audience actually begins. And I'm right here learning it all with you. I'm Kevin from Innovaniac Music. We help indie artists produce great music and get published and build a real growing audience. Until the next video, dream big and create boldly.
100 miles per hour on that see-through. All I ever had is to be true. More like Swiss cheese when I approach these words. They got holes in them so deep you can fill them up and swim in them. Not advisable, I would try it though. Walk with a cane on a rainy day. Big teeth out, that's a smiley face. Lights on, lights off, I'ma make it happen. Wax on, wax off.